Go follow me over on Instagram for more content. I'm doing a giveaway at 3,000 followers. Thank you. Back in December of 2019, Steven Strasburg would get the second massive payday of his career. He was previously in the middle of a 7-year contract worth $175 million he got as an extension from the Nationals, but had the ability to opt out of that contract after the first 3 years of it, and so Strasburg did, opting out of the remaining 4 years to become a free agent for the first time in his career. It didn't take too long for him to get another deal done with the Nationals, re-signing with them for 7 years and $245 million. Steven Strasburg was on top of the world. He had just won the World Series with the Nationals, won World Series MVP, and was now much, much richer in the bank account. Things were looking great for him and for baseball in Washington, D.C. until they weren't. But before we get any further, if you're part of the 70% not subscribed watching this video, make sure to hit that button. Thank you. The Nationals have gone on to lose most of their guys from that team, the World Series roster, minus a few exceptions, with one of those exceptions being Steven Strasburg, which of course makes sense considering, he signed a big deal with them. Unfortunately though, it's almost as if Strasburg may as well not be on the team because he has been non-existent ever since signing that contract in December of 2019. He began the delayed and shortened 2020 season on the injured list, going on to only pitch 5 innings the whole year. 2021 was another injury-riddled season that limited Strasburg to just 5 starts overall, shoulder inflammation, a neck strain, and he'd eventually have to get surgery to treat his thoracic outlet syndrome, which is a nerve issue. In 2022, Strasburg started the year on the injured list, made 1 start in June, gave up 7 runs to the Marlins, was put back on the injured list because of a stress reaction in his ribs, and stayed shelved for the rest of the year. And to this day, he has still not thrown a pitch. We haven't really had many updates about his situation, little to none, but we finally have one, and it's bad news, really bad news. Strasburg did not report to and missed all of spring training this year, staying home for all of it due to health complications that have been described as severe nerve damage by 3 people familiar with what's going on. Earlier this season, Strasburg slowly did things to lightly rehab himself, but by mid-April, he was only doing lower body workouts that strained the right side of his body because of the nerve damage, which caused pain, tingling, and numbness, forcing him to have to shut down any baseball or physical activities. Apparently last summer, Strasburg was not able to stand for very long before his right hand went numb, a lot of the time having to lie down and press his hand against his chest. He's tried multiple times to start throwing again and get back to pitching, only for discomfort to show up. I mean, this dude just seems to be falling apart, and as far as what Strasburg himself thinks, he seems to be looking at the harsh reality, saying that he doesn't know if he'll ever be able to do this consistently on a major league mound again, adding on that he isn't ready to call it quits just yet and will just continue to focus on feeling good and getting a little bit better every single day. So despite being the biggest name on the Nationals right now and the highest paid player on the Nationals right now, he's basically not on the team anymore, and all the signs and experts are pointing to his career being done. Yet the Nationals will have to pay him every cent of his deal because they don't have any disability insurance on the contract. If the Nationals wanted disability insurance, they would have had to offer Strasburg more money on the contract, something that seems ownership was not willing to do. Well, Strasburg hasn't really pitched since signing the deal, and the Nats are screwed as far as the money goes. This absolutely sucks for the Nationals, obviously, but you also gotta feel for Steven Strasburg. I hate it. Yeah, sure, Strasburg will be just fine. He's making loads of money and is set for life, but he's still an athlete, a competitor, someone who I'm sure would want nothing more than to go out there and win games for his team like he did when healthy. You think he wants to be known as a guy who took a massive contract and didn't live up to it because he barely pitched ever again after signing it? Of course not. Yes, he'll be fine financially, obviously, but I feel for him. This sucks. Some on social media brought up a valid point about Steven Strasburg with this news coming out today, with some saying that Strasburg basically put his career and future on the line to help the Nats win the 2019 World Series, and I could not agree more. When I think of Steven Strasburg, yeah, it's hard not to think about the injury issues, but when the man was healthy, he was pretty much as good as it gets. So what I think about most is the final highlight of his career, when he gutted it out and helped quiet one of the greatest lineups of all time to win the World Series. In Game 2 of the World Series in Houston, Strasburg pitched 6 strong innings, giving up just a couple of runs and striking out 7, getting the win. And then came Game 6. Back in Houston with the Nationals' backs up against the wall, and Steven Strasburg, after giving up a 2-run shot to Alex Bregman in the first inning, locked it down the rest of the way, striking out 7 Astros hitters and pitching into the 9th inning, helping the Nats win that game to move on to a Game 7 in which they'd win, with Strasburg getting the World Series MVP honors, and he damn well deserved it. Again, that 2019 Houston Astros offense was stupid. I mean, this is a lineup that had Carlos Correa hitting 7th. Carlos Correa at the bottom of the order. That tells you a lot. George Springer leading off, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. Yet Steven Strasburg had the guts and the balls to shut them down and win both of his World Series starts against them on the road. So it may likely be a sad ending, but when I think of Steven Strasburg, his 2019 postseason and World Series in particular will be how I remember him. And it should be for you as well. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.